Hello and welcome. In this video I'm going to be just talking about my car. I'm just going to give a basic overview of it. It's been requested quite a few times for a video on my car, so I'm just going to go over pretty much everything about it. So this is a 1999 Acura Integra GS. It has a 1.8 liter engine. It does not unfortunately have VTEC, as many people like to ask me. I have recently lowered my car, so this isn't actually the stock height. It's a little bit lower, maybe about 1.5 to 2 inches lower. You may notice 50 shades of gray or so, and that comes from my accident history, which I'll get into later, talking about this car. I get asked quite a bit, how is your car so fast? And my response is pretty simple. I just stuck that right on there on the back, and it did wonders for my 0 to 60. So this is a 2-door hatch. There is a 4-door version that has a trunk rather than a hatch. I love the hatchback. I can fit all kinds of stuff in the back. I can stick a bike in there without taking the wheel off. I put a 7-foot Christmas tree in there once and managed to close the trunk, so it is pretty incredible how much you can fit in such a small vehicle. 15-inch wheels all around, 195 or 55, and it is an independent suspension on all 4 corners as well. On top of the independent suspension at all 4 corners, it also does have disc brakes at all 4 corners. So let's take a peek on the inside. Manual 5-speed transmission. There's our 3 pedals. Here's our wonderful display. 124,000 miles on it. So if you've watched my video on steering, you know how fond I am of this steering wheel. Probably my favorite steering wheel ever. I love the leather. It gives a real snug feel. And the fact that you can put your hand at the bottom rather than those T steering wheels that seems to be the common thing nowadays. I don't know, maybe that's for accidents, but I'm not a fan of it. I like being able to put my arm on that bottom handle right there. I have replaced the stock stereo and I put in this Pioneer one. I also stuck in some Polk 6.5-inch speakers all around. And that was basically because the ones that were in here previously were cardboard. Let's see, what else do we have here in the center console? Pretty sophisticated air conditioning system. Actually, the original AC still works. Never had anything done to it and still blowing cold, so that's pretty incredible. Heat still works great. Let's see, we've got this cigarette lighter, which has obviously been used all the time. Don't smoke. Here's where I keep all my money I make from YouTube. And the world's worst cup holder. It's really cheap, and it doesn't hold many things at all, except like a soda can. So it sucks. And then when you do have something kind of tall, it sticks up in front of the stereo, and you can't adjust the volume. Power moonroof. This is a luxury vehicle after all. Passenger airbag. Nobody cares. Glove compartment full of all the essentials. What else do we got? Power locks, pretty impressive. Power windows, all of which still work, original motors. The automatic function of the driver's side window does not work anymore, but it still does raise and lower, so I'm fine with it. Tweeters up on the top. So let's take a peek at the back. Pretty cramped. As you can see, that seat is kind of coming up. It's not in the greatest shape, which brings me to these front seats. You'll notice they have covers on them. Why would I put such hideous covers? Well, my seat's kind of disintegrating, so I put that cover on there so I don't get eaten by it. The rear seats do fold down, which gives you an incredible amount of space in the back, as I was saying earlier, and you can actually take that piece off and then it's just a big open space in the back, which is great if you need to bring stuff or for when you're moving across the country like I did. There's my Polk speakers. I absolutely love them. They sound fantastic. I went into Circuit City when that place still existed and said, what are your most expensive speakers? This is what they said, so I got them because I was in high school and had tons of money to blow. You may notice my antenna is completely gone. They got ripped off in a car wash. So I don't use the radio too much, so I just stuck some duct tape on it because I was getting water in my trunk. So there we have the hatch up. Still in great condition. Those air shocks still working fantastically. And here's the trunk. Pretty good space. There's a light in case you need that. And like I said, you can fold down those chairs, and it's quite a big area to put things. This is what it looks like to ride in the back seat of a race car. Pretty cool. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about my dash, I've got this fruit roll up here. I don't know, everyone's got something that sits in their car forever. This is what sat in my car forever. So this is from high school, probably 2007, which means it's about 6 years old or so. Let's see if there's a date on here. 2007, General Mills, yeah, so it's probably still good. Just says peel from cellophane backing before eating. Okay. So let me talk about the condition of the car, being that it's 15 years old. Pretty much everything still works. There's a few things that are broken. You can see here, like this AC vent, but the AC still works. And the seats aren't in the greatest shape. As you can see, this one here is kind of lifted up, but pretty much everything does work. Oh, the thing that does not work, my wiper fluid pump. I can't clean my windshield. I gotta do that at the gas station. But I've never had that luxury, so I don't know what it's like anyways. So let's take a look under the hood. And there we are. There's that big V8 I was telling you guys about. So Honda inline 4, it's a 1.8 liter, it's the B18 B1 series engine. Let's see, it is a distributor engine. It doesn't have individual coils for each spark. There's our air filter, go to the intake manifold, brings the exhaust out the front, and then it goes down under and back. So there's our transmission. Here we got the radiator and the coolant reservoir, our power steering pump. What else do we got? There's our brake booster and our brake fluid. There's the battery and fuse box. So it's a pretty good engine, runs great. The transmission is fantastic. My only caveat about the engine is that it does burn a decent amount of oil, maybe 2 quarts every 3,000 miles, maybe 2 to 3 quarts every 3,000 miles. So I do have to check that regularly and make sure that it's got the right amount of oil in it. Other than that, it has leaked oil at some points, but I've got most of those taken care of. Really, it's just those worn piston rings, since the engine is so old, I believe, which is causing it to burn a decent amount of oil. But it runs great, and it's still got a little pep in it, so for now I'm fine with it. Okay, so let's talk about those accidents. So the first time my car was hit, I wasn't even in it, and someone parked and just came and slammed into the side of it. So that was a good experience. They claimed they hit a tree, even though they had silver paint all over their car, but they ended up paying for it, so it's all good. The second time I was hit, which was exactly 1 week later, had someone slam into this rear part right here. I was sitting in line waiting to go to lunch, and they got in their car, didn't even look behind them when they got in their car, didn't look in their mirror when they got in their car, didn't look behind them when they were backing up, and then they just went, you know, at a pretty good speed and just backed right up into my car. So that was pretty great. I got their phone number and then went to lunch. So the next time I was hit, it was about a month later than those other 2 accidents, and it was the same person who crashed into me the first time, parking next to me, and they once again hit the side of my car. That was at my high school parking. It was a nightmare. Okay, so the fourth time I was hit, a friend's dad backed their truck up into my car, and they had a trailer hitch on it, so it just punched a hole clean out of the front here, just nice little hole there. So that was a pain to deal with because it was my friend's dad, and we had to work that out. So the 5th time I got hit, I got a nice smack right there in the back bumper, and that was in college, and it's a long story, but point is I never really got around to getting anything from it. Ended up being able to wipe off most of the white paint that the car left, so it wasn't too big a deal. And the final time I got hit, which was right here, never saw it, never knew when it happened, so it remains as is, but it's not that terrible. It's not like it really damaged the bumper that much, just chipped off a good amount of paint, which is kind of an eyesore, but that's all that happened, so that's that. So in total, I know of 6 times that my car's been hit, which sounds terrible, but I don't know, I've kind of dealt with all of them. Pretty bad luck, I guess, on my part. I was only in the car for 2 of those 6, and all 6 of those, my car was not moving. So I guess that is pretty bad luck. I have had the front bumper repainted, the front quarter panel repainted, the left door repainted, the rear bumper repainted, the right door repainted, and the right corner panel repainted. So I'm really looking for someone to hit the hood of my car because the paint's not in that great of shape, and also someone to hit the top of my car because, as you can see, the paint's kind of a disaster. So if someone were to hit it, that'd be kind of nice, and I could just get that painted. So there you have it, Engineering Explains Extravagant Ride. I love this car. Feels great to drive. It's very precise. The steering is very precise, and it's one of the things I like about it. You just feel connected to the road really well versus some of the modern cars where you have electronic steering and things like that, where you just don't get that feel anymore. I really do like it. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below.